This is my audience. In the beginning of The Lion King, Mufasa tells Simba that he must respect all living animals, and Simba asks him if he even has to respect animals such as the antelope because they eat the antelope. And Mufasa says, "Yes, Simba, but let me explain. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass, and so we're all connected in the great circle of life. My name is Heyam Saleh. I'm an aspiring environmental biologist, and as I've studied biology, I've learned that this is actually factual information, even though it comes from a children's Disney movie. Animals are, however, being endangered, but they're still very essential to us. However, there are ways that we can help. The World Wildlife Fund says that 85% of animals on the endangered species list are endangered because of something called habitat loss. Habitat loss is exactly what it sounds like. It's when an animal loses its habitat due to some kind of human activity. This can be something like bulldozing or chopping down trees in order to make room for more houses or more workspaces for us. The National Resource Defense System tells us that 3.2 million acres of land is bulldozed each year. That means that 3.2 million acres of habitat land for animals is lost every year. Not only does this kill the animals that are already living there, but it also takes away a food source for animals that live nearby. Another way that animals are becoming polluted would be through degradation. Degradation is simply pollution, which there are many different types of. There's land pollution, water pollution, air pollution. The United States Environment Program tells us that over 1 million birds and 100,000 sea mammals die because of water pollution every single year. And that's just in the water. There's also land pollution and air pollution that animals are dying from every year. This does directly affect us in our ecosystem, whether we realize it or not. One way that it affects us is by species that are known as keystone species. And keystone species are species that, once they're affected negatively, many other things in the ecosystem are affected negatively. The U.S. Wildlife and Fisheries Department gives us an example of the gray wolf as a keystone species. The gray wolf was recently restored to Yellowstone's National Park. And when it was restored, many other things began to balance out. For example, the elk were overpopulated, and once the gray wolf were restored there, they began to consume the elk and controlled the elk population. Once the elk population was controlled, the trees began to regrow because they weren't being eaten as much by all the elks. And the trees growing helped not only the birds find more homes, but it also helped beavers find wood to build their homes, and it even helped trouts in the stream by giving them more oxygen. Another way that animals are very helpful to us would be through food. They're very important to our food sources. For example, we do get them through cattle, which is an obvious example because we have farms which have cows and chickens and pigs. But they also help us through pollination. And this is whenever an animal is going to get food from a plant or just walking by one and pollen gets on its skin. So it starts walking and then it gets to another plant and it deposits the pollen, which causes the plant to be fertilized and which causes our crops to grow. They're also a very important source of medicine, believe it or not. The Zoo Granby website, which is a website dedicated to saving animals, tells us that the Brazilian viper has venom that can be used as a blood pressure medicine. And this is just one example of many, many types of medicine that can be used because of animals. Although this is very sad that animals are being endangered and it affects us directly, we can help. One thing we can do is we can stop polluting. And this includes reducing, reusing, and recycling because that would help decrease the amount of land pollution that we have. It would also include something like not littering, which is very simple. Just throw your trash away in the trash can. Or if you want to stop air pollution, you can ride your bike to work instead of driving your car. Another thing we can do is be more environmentally friendly. This would just be something as simple as taking 20 minutes of your day to replant a tree that maybe you cut down because it was in the way or it was dying and it was going to fall on your house. We could also not buy furs and tusk products in order to stop the illegal hunting of animals such as elephants. Last but not least, you can inform people. You can just let them know, like I'm letting you know right now, how animals are being endangered and what you can do to help, or you can even join a volunteer organization to help save them. Animals are very important to us. They give us food, medicine, and they're essential to our food chain. We couldn't survive without them. As Mufasa says, we are all connected in the great circle of life. Thank you.